Good evening and welcome to Conversations with Crystal. I'm your hostess, Crystal, and thank you for joining us this evening. I'm having a great time and I hope you are too. This evening we are joined by Tony Santis from Hoochie Mama. Welcome, Tony. How are you this evening?
I'm excellent, Crystal. And you?
I'm pretty darn good myself, thank you.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Has it been a busy day for you?
Yeah, it's always a busy day in Sydney when you have to work and shuffle your jobs around music and family and so forth. So it's always a busy day.
Yeah. Now, Hoochie Mama, who come up with that name?
Well, that was me. We probably kicked the band off about 8 years ago. And it was just me and my mate Marty, which is the drummer in the band, Marty Richardson. And we were doing some open mic nights.
Yep.
And we were playing at a place called the Bald-Faced Stag down at Leichhardt on Parramatta Road there. And it was the Musos night, and it was run by, I think, a fellow called Jim Finn and Al Britton.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I know them well, and I used to frequent the same place.
Well, I think half of Sydney used to go there, and it was a great.
I think so.
It was a great place and great musicians, and they put one hell of a night on. And so we started to venture out to these open mics and so forth, and we had a couple of tunes under our belts that we wanted to play, and we needed a name. So I was what do we call ourselves? And I just came up with the name Hoochie Mama. I mean, I'm a Seinfeld fan, so it comes from there. So I'm no point hiding it. So that's where the name came from.
That's perfect. And as a musician, were you playing much before you started going to the jams?
Yeah, well, I've been playing guitar my whole life and started, way back in dare I say, back in the 80s in my first bands.
Mm-hmm.
And we were playing. We're down from the Southern Shire area. And in my early days, in my late teens, I was in a band called Just Lust, and that morphed into a band called Dance Park, and we were just like just lads, late teens, early 20s, and we were really just doing original songs.
Fantastic.
And we thought we were going to be the next Duran Duran because New Wave just come in, and all the big bands was sort of like U2 and In Excess were still quite young and all sort of stuff. And so we were just looking abroad for inspiration and with bands like Simple Minds and Cure and all this new stuff that was coming out of the UK, and we were just totally inspired. And so we were just doing all original music. And then we got our foothold into the live scene and started playing with some great Aussie bands just around the Shire at the time. And
did you write your own music back then, or was it a collaboration?
It was a collaboration. Like we come in and someone have a guitar riff. The lyricist, the singer Ian, he used to write all the lyrics in the band, and then we just collaborate with the music and write our own parts and the songs, and we took a lot of pride. We're trying to create something new, and we just weren't playing covers but that was back in the day when originals were accepted. You could go out and play in a pub, and as you know, the pubs would be packed because people want to see live music. And we were playing alongside with bands, Richard Clapton, Ice House, In Excess. We support all these bands back in the very early 80s.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
How fantastic is that?
Oh,
as young, that was kind of the heyday, because you also had Cold Chisel, AC/DC. They were all original music.
That's right. Yeah, and the pubs were absolutely packed to the rafters. And some of my best nights are seeing some of the live Aussie bands. And I don't think you can explain to kids today, or when I say kids, kids in their 20s or even their 30s, just say, you don't know what live music was like back in the 80s when you could go out 3-4 nights a week and see some of these iconic bands. And,
exactly, and down at Bondi.
Yeah, I used to go to Bondi and, everywhere from around the Shire. We used to go to Sylvania and Caringbah Inn and so forth. We used to go to the Bondi Lifesavers.
Yep, that's the one.
A few other pubs. I used to go in the town, Governor's Pleasure or Sydney Cove Tavern. There was a lot of places used to go and watch the bands and also have gigs there.
Yeah.
alongside these bands.
And it was quite heady days because, there was smoking and drinking on the dance floor, glasses broken, swinging from the rafters in some places, and
It was it was crazy. I remember, I think, going down to seeing saw Cold Chisel. I think I was about 18. When I was sort of starting to go out to bars and clubs and so forth, and it was absolutely chockers, this club. And it was back in the day when Jimmy Barnes was pretty wild. And next thing is on stage, and you turn around, and he's on the back on the second level, hanging from the chandeliers, just about to jump off. And it was wild, and it was awesome, and it was electric. The atmosphere was just unbelievable. And that's when I was thinking to myself, I want to be in a rock band. I want to play in a band. I want to play live music. I want to be on stage. I don't want to be out here in the crowd. I want to be up there. And
you know what? That's always what I thought too. Is I don't want to be here. I want to be up there.
Exactly.
And I was. So
yeah, it was great. And once you have that feeling, it's great playing live. And we were fortunate enough to we didn't do anything fantastic, but we played enough gigs and with enough bands, and eventually the band imploded. But that was before we left our mark on a Cooking with George LP back in the day. Remember when they did all those records through Triple J? And,
yes, yeah.
So we were, I think it was on one of the first Cooking with George albums. So if anyone's got one of those records, if you look up Dance Park, that's us. We've got a couple of tracks on that album.
Oh, how cool is that? Well, I'm glad that they're still. Would they be on Spotify or anything like that, Tony?
I don't know, but funny enough, my brother-in-law came out and we had a barbecue at his place a while ago. He came out. He said, "Do you recognise this?" And he had one of the albums, the Cooking with George, was like 3 or 4 records. It was like a box set, and it's almost like a collector's item. I couldn't believe he had one. But that was back in the day. At the same time as when Boom Crash Opera just came out.
Yep.
So it was sort of come out at about the same time. It would have been about probably mid-80s at that stage. And but they went on to great heights, and we imploded. So the end of that story.
Yeah. And how long did you guys stay together as that band there?
That band probably about maybe 3 or 4 years. We were together in two different incarnations, and we had a great time. We learned a lot, but we were just being young and silly. Everyone sort of had too many egos in the band, and it just imploded. And so that band broke up. And then
what a shame.
Yeah, it was a shame. But me and the singer then carried on, and we started a new band called Hungry Eyes. And that lasted for about 5 or 6 years, up towards the late.
I remember that band, Hungry Eyes.
Yeah, that was us. And we
there you go. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we released a song called So Wrong, the Hungry Eyes. That's on YouTube. You can see the clip there. It's a great song. It's very political. It's actually very now the song. We were probably way ahead of our time.
Yes.
Well, I should say that Ian, he wrote some great lyrics, and I'm sure if he had his chance, he would have the song supporting the Yes movement, because it's all about that sort of stuff. It's very, very now. But so that band was we went through Dance Park into Hungry Eyes, and that was sort of like the late 80s. So we're still doing we sort of morphed into new wave, into funk back in those days. Funk was sort of very big in the late 80s, and still doing original music. Always did original music through all those bands, and we still managed to get enough work and enough gigs playing originals, which was great.
That's fantastic. Do you find now, though, because I know you have Hoochie Mama and you may have some originals there, but do you play a lot of covers now? And do you find that, I know for me personally, if I'm singing a song that I've written, I get a bit more satisfaction out of it than I love doing covers as well. There's such great music around. But do you find that you're not doing maybe as many originals now?
Yeah, 100%. Like when we kicked off Hoochie Mama, we were just jamming. And so we were jamming probably 50% originals and 50% covers, half and half. And then we started doing the open mics and so forth, and eventually went into the gig world. And when we started doing those gigs, we was sort of filtered to about maybe 30% originals, 7% covers, because we thought we've got to keep the punters interested. And, but also the covers that we chose when we first kicked off, we weren't playing super mainstream songs. We were playing like the B-sides of albums and all songs, by popular people, but they may not be a super popular song, or they may have been a hit from a long time ago. And and then the other thing that we sort of got into is that we would then eventually we would say Hoochie Mama the track, which would mean we would take a song and make it our own, and sometimes we'd go into maybe doing like a country beats and rockabilly beats into rock songs and change the arrangements to keep it interesting for us. So even though you're not doing original songs, sometimes you take some of these covers and you make it your own and do your own versions to it. So that kept us interesting, but also kept the punters interested as well, because we're playing songs that they knew, but a different version. And then eventually, nowadays, we do pretty much almost 95% covers. Because you've got to keep the public happy, keep the people drinking, and keep the people up dancing. So if I had my way, I would love to just do originals. But so that's why we're almost wearing a couple of hats now, because we have written original songs, as you know, that we spoke about. So, and we have done a film clip for it as well. So we like to.
Fantastic.
We still want to do original music and release it and put it out there, because I don't want to just waste our songs that we've got and not go anywhere. You got to have some sort of release to get the songs out. So still
absolutely.
So still do that, and then the cover gigs is just like bread and butter.
So would your original music be on like Spotify, YouTube?
Yes, on all streaming services, So you can find under Hoochie Mama.
Yeah, so what I'll get you to do then, and we've already spoke about it, is send me some links so I can put them in the description so people can just click on those links and be taken straight to it.
Yep.
That seems to be the easiest thing for people now.
Yep.
Do you have some albums available for people to purchase?
No, we haven't gone down that way. Eventually we would like to do possibly an EP, but I think what our plan is that we're just going to release a track at a time on Spotify as they come up. Instead of saying let's record a whole EP and put an album out, we worked a little bit too slowly to do that. We were waiting a lifetime. So we get a song ready, put it out, and off we go.
And promote the hell out of it.
and that's why we like doing the film clips with the original songs as well, because we can have a bit of fun with it and have a bit of storyboard. We don't like to do like serious videos. I like to have a bit of fun with it, put a bit of humour in it, and we've done that with the film clip for our song.
Oh, that's fantastic. And the name of the song that we're talking about would be Last Dime, Whisky and My Motorbike.
Correct.
Right. I think what we'll do actually is slot that in right about now and have a listen.
We danced the night. took my last dime. She drank my whiskey. Oh, last dime, whiskey and motorbike. She took my last dime. She drank my whiskey. Oh, last dime, whiskey and my motorbike. She took my last dime. She drank my whiskey. Oh, last dime, whiskey and motorbike. She took my last dime. She drank my whiskey. Oh, last dime, whiskey and my motorbike. She took my last dime, whiskey and my motorbike. She took my last dime, whiskey and my motorbike.
Okay, Tony, I think that is absolutely fantastic. Good job. Good
Oh,
job.
I'm glad you liked it there, Crystal.
Oh, you're welcome. And I know that I have another song of yours later on. It would be a cover, and we'll put that in a little bit later on in the interview. So good work on that. I think it's a big thing for any artist and songwriters to get their stuff out there, actually to get to the point of recording it and getting it out there, because a lot of people can write a song, but they don't get it produced and don't get it out there to the wider public, which is what everybody needs to have, is more original music, I believe.
You got to have the full package. You got the presentation, the performance, the playing, everything. I don't think people really appreciate how difficult it is to get a good sounding song happening.
No, you're totally correct. Even if you're doing covers, it's the same thing. It's everybody's got to play their part cohesively.
Exactly. So we've enjoyed writing. So I was just going to go back probably another decade before that. So after the band Dance Park, I went to Hungry Eyes. Mm-hmm. We just sort of disbanded Hungry Eyes, and then I teamed up with another mate of mine, and we formed a bit of a production company for a little while. So I did that in the early 90s for about 7-8 years.
Oh, cool.
And we were just producing demos. We produced a couple of singles here and there as well. And we're still writing through this whole period. At this stage, I wasn't interested in covers at all.
Yep.
We just wanted to do original music. I got into sort of R&B, soul, and that sort of stuff as well. And early 90s, we wrote a few songs. And then I was out one night and I met Mark Williams.
Yep.
The singer, Show No Mercy singer.
Mm-hmm.
And got to know Mark quite well, and he ended up, over the years, about 5-6 years, we recorded about a dozen songs with him.
Oh, fantastic. How
cool.
We
were writing the songs, and give Mark a call and he'd come over and he demoed the songs and so forth, and we got quite a few tracks up, and it was only last year. They've been in the vault for like a long time, and I rang him Mark last year at a gig, and I said, "Remember all those songs that we recorded?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "You might put one of them out." He said, "Go for it, bro." So we released a song with Mark singing on it. It's a track called Special. It's on Spotify. Under Mark Williams. We didn't put under our name, we just put under Mark Williams, produced by us, which called ourselves Fat Music at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an R&B track. It's a song I wrote about my daughter when she was born.
Oh,
so
nice.
So it means a lot. It means a lot to me. I couldn't sing it if I tried, because it's a bit of vocal gymnastics in there, and Mark just kills the track, and it's a beautiful song, and so you're really stoked after all these years to get it out of the vault and put it out on streaming services to get it out there.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, and very pleased about that, and then obviously Mark's gone on to the greater and greater things all along, and he's been singing with Dragon now for about 15 years.
Yeah.
So he's really kicking ass doing that, and so I was really pleased to have him sing on our tracks, and I still think he's one of the best vocalists in the country.
Yeah, what a boon for you guys. What a boon. Now,
Well, it's just interesting. It's interesting to see someone like him at work singing.
yeah.
You know, just the way, you go into it, what it's like, you're a singer, you go in a room, you teach somebody a song, you learn the parts, you might spend half an hour going through the song, do this, do that, and then you'll just go in and he'll just perform it and going, oh my God, how did you do that? You did everything I asked plus 10,000 times better.
Oh, that is awesome. That is really awesome. It's really good, isn't it, as a musician when you gel with other musicians?
Oh, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, and it makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it? Because the pay packets certainly don't.
No, you have to get some sort of source satisfaction out of it, somewhere along the line.
Yeah, that's it. So I've seen that you guys have played with Dragons, Skyhooks and the Radiators. When was that? That was about 2019, was it around?
Just before COVID.
Yeah, just before COVID, yes. Yeah, 2019, yep.
Yeah, it was a couple of years before COVID, so I think 2019 was our best year. Like the band, we'll start to gain momentum. I think we're going to start recording the tracks that we're going to release. We're getting a lot of shows with some of those bands. We did a little 4 or 5 date tour with Ted Murray Gang when they came out, probably 2019 or 2020 as well. We did a few dates with them.
Yep.
They just got together. They must get together every few years and do a few shows, and so we tagged along with that. So it was going really well, and then all of a sudden the dreaded COVID hit, and we had a whole bunch of dates booked in 2020, and bit by bit I got a phone call and got cancellations, and so did every other musician and band in the country.
Yes.
Everyone just got cancellations, and it was just gone. It was just decimated overnight.
Absolutely, and it's coming back a lot better now, but for so long it's just been so hard. Such a hard road to get everything back.
I still don't think we're quite there yet. I talked to some of the venue owners, and they're just saying no, it's still down on numbers. It's hard to get. And now also the other problem is there's way too many bands and not enough venues.
True.
I get a lot of that as well. So it's hard to get your foot in the door of some new venues because they want to keep using the same bands that they've had for years and years, and I think got a crowd or they're doing or whatever. You're not getting a chance or a look in into new venues, so that's quite difficult as well.
Well, because a lot of venues have closed down since COVID.
Oh yeah,
they just couldn't sustain to come back, and it's just it's still good, but it's just not the same. So anyway, all we can do as musicians is keep playing our music, keep entertaining people, and just keep on keeping on.
It's just up to the people just to get out there and support live music, support the venues that actually have the courage to put bands on, to put live music on, support those venues.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
They're the ones taking the risk. Like they're still paying the artists. They're still got to put, they're still got to pay their staff to open the venues and so forth. So you need the numbers there to make them break even at least.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the last few venues that are open, they won't put bands back on.
No, and so many of them too have got the poker machines.
That's right. Yeah, that's the other issue as well.
Yeah, so I know quite a few venues that if they haven't closed down, they've got poker machines in there now, and it's just like, hang on, when did that happen?
Exactly. Well, that's like the 90s all over again, really, wasn't it? Because a lot of the pubs back in the 90s were shutting their doors and pulling out the stages and putting poker machines in.
Yeah, isn't it a funny thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It was that whole period, like sort of late, I thought through the 90s and early noughties where live music sort of disappeared in some ways.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, and I'm certainly not dissing it, but the music that we know from the 80s, 90s, etc., and the blues, the music today is so different.
Well, it is. That's true. So, I mean, music today, any new artists or new songs, it's it's a lot of just programmed half the time. So,
And you can tell too with the drum beat, you can actually tell.
well, and they're just so it's just top 40 stuff. It's so overproduced. Doesn't
Yes.
matter if you listen to Bruno Mars or Ed Sheeran these days or Taylor Swift. The songs are just, they might be great songs, and you can play them with the band and strip the songs right back. But the actual recordings, you can hear that they're programmed, the life out of it and overproduce the life out of the songs where there's no realism in it anymore.
No, not like when AC/DC went into the studio fresh from doing a
No,
gig, fresh from doing a
exactly.
gig, and their voices were raw, their fingers were probably bleeding, and they go straight into the studio and record, and
Exactly.
you can hear that rawness straight into the amplifier, no pedals, and
Exactly.
that was rock and roll.
Exactly. And that's what people want to hear these days. And these days now I've sort of changed my focus a little bit on what I like to listen to as well, because of the top 40, there's nothing really there for me that I'm interested in.
No.
And I'm sort of almost veering over to the country stuff for the last 10 years as well.
Well, I was actually going to
I
call
find
you
that interesting.
to ask you about that. I've noticed that you have such a wide range of genres that you dip your toe into, and I've seen that
Yeah,
country was one of them.
yeah.
So, who in the country genre inspired you to like country and to want to play
Um,
it? To want to play it?
well, to me, it's one of the last places where they're real musicians playing real songs.
Good
That's the
call.
last. That's what got me right into it. And it was probably about 8, 9, 10 years ago. As I was starting to watch this fellow called Marty Stewart,
Hmm.
and he had this show called the Marty Stewart and the Superlatives, and he's like the silver fox, I call him, and he's iconic in Nashville.
Hmm.
And this dude, he was a child prodigy, and he played the mandolin. I think when he was 15 or 16 or probably younger, with banjo players and so forth, and other country artists called Earl Scruggs. And
Yep.
he was actually in Johnny Cash's band as a guitarist.
Oh,
So
cool.
this guy's got a lot of history. He's probably in his late 60s now, but he had this awesome show. I used to watch it on the Country Music Channel, and it was like it was obviously a TV set, but the set was like set up as an old barn, and they got wagon wheels and straw,
I
and the
remember
band,
that.
you remember, and the Superlatives, they all wore these safari suits and wore like country safari suits, but they were all awesome plays,
Yeah.
and the harmony. It was just a 4-piece band. But I started watching this dude. I'm thinking, God, how much fun are these guys having?
Yes.
And I was just sort of rediscovering lead guitar, and all sorts of stuff again. And I love Telecasters. So
I know you've.
all country players play Telecasters, and I love Telecasters.
They do. I noticed that you've got a beautiful black coloured one with a humbucker, or is it a
Yeah, that's the
P90?
one. No, it's a humbucker, and I love that guitar. That's my go-to guitar every single time, because you can get the crunch out of the humbucker, but still get the telly twang.
And what
Uh,
brand is that?
it's a Fender,
Fender.
the Fender Tele Custom.
So are you a Fender or a Gibson or a Gretsch
Uh,
man?
well, I'd have to say I've got 3 tellies, and 1 Gibson, so I have to, and a Strat, so I'd have to say I am a Fender boy.
Fender boy.
Uh, yeah, Fender boy, and I've got a Fender amp, so you just can't beat the combination of Fender guitar straight into a Fender amp.
Yeah, especially not the tellies. I think they do extremely well with the Fender amps too.
Oh, they just sound so clean, I love the twang. And then it was and funny enough, because we're a trio,
Hmm.
3-piece band. Even I've got the other telly. I just found the black one that I played with the humbucker. It's just got the right combination of sounds to fill out the band as well.
Yes, yes.
Like with the material that we play, with the songs that we play.
Hmm.
So you got to find the right instrument to complement the drums and the guitars and the bass and so forth, whatever you're playing. And that was just the right combination for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, you play lead guitar and some rhythm all rolled into
Yeah,
one.
all rolled in one and lead vocals as well. So
Yep.
I've never been a lead vocalist before Hoochie Mama, and when we kicked off the band, I was sort of starting to look around for another vocalist, and no one put their hand up. And I said to Mark, he said, "I think I'll have a crack at that." And he said, "Yeah, go for it."
And the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, I've always dabbled. I've never thought I'd do lead vocals. That's why we dipped our toes into the open mic nights and so forth, so I could get my confidence up. And I thought,
Yeah, right.
you
Yeah.
know, I was a bit shy. I never thought I could do it. But then once I started doing it, I thought, this is a lot of fun.
It is,
You know,
isn't
and
it? And it's just kind of
yeah,
like, I don't want to get off of here.
yeah. Well,
I just want to keep going.
you just got to get your confidence up. You got to start playing. Obviously, you got to put the work in. And Hoochie Mama, we get together once a week, just about.
Perfect.
If we've got gigs or no gigs or whatever, it's our we always joke that's our golf, it's our tennis, that's our man shed. We get together regardless and shoot the breeze and play some music and regardless if we've got gigs or not, we'll just try and get together every week. And
I think
if we've
that's
got gigs,
fantastic.
yeah, if we've got gigs, we'll rehearse. But if there's no gigs, we'll try some new material and different things.
That's it.
So,
I think
and
the
that's
main
that.
thing is being a unit and kind of staying together and,
Yeah,
being
well,
friends with everyone.
exactly, and you got to have the same drive, you got to have be on the same path. And Marty and I have always been on the same path of what we want out of the band, and our bass player Joff. And the funny enough, Joff, he joined us about 3 years ago, used to play with me in Hungry Eyes all those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was looking for a bass player, we called Joff up and he said, "Yeah, I'm ready." This was just during COVID because he's a jazz player.
Oh, awesome.
So a lot of his big band gigs have just got decimated as well through COVID.
Mm.
So he was looking for something to do, and so it was perfect. It all fitted well together.
Oh, that's fantastic. Did you find it a little bit challenging to sing and play guitar at the same time?
I did. I won't lie. It's always hard to. To me, it's a bit like a drummer. I don't know how drummers do it when they play kick and snare and have all these different things together.
Me
But
either.
it's practice. You learn to do your solos and your rhythms. You disconnect yourself. I'm playing the rhythm all the way through. You disconnect yourself from the vocals, so your brain's spitting the words out, and your hands are doing something else.
Yeah,
So
I think what it is,
it's
you create new neural pathways.
Oh, you do, and there's some songs I found quite challenging in singing, and there's another fella that I really. So there's a few guys I sort of looked up to at the time to get inspiration, and Marty Stewart was one of them. Another fella was a guy called Tad Benoit, or Tad Benoit, as we might call him. He's a guy from Louisiana, and he's a blues player as well, and he's got a 3-piece band.
I've heard of him, yes.
He's absolutely awesome. He's very, very raw. All his music's very raw, blues, and so I looked towards him and watched a lot of his stuff live on YouTube, and you're playing riffs all the way through the song and singing over the top, and
Wow.
we cover one of his songs, and at the time when I first wanted to do it, I thought, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. We're doing a constant riff, we could do that sort of thing, and singing over the top. I thought I'd never be able to do that, but perseverance, and now you don't even
Practice,
think about
that's it, that's it.
It's just practice. You just do it and you pull it off.
Yeah. So now you play lovely Telecaster and the odd Strat and Gibson. Now, do you play any other instruments?
No, I've got a couple of keyboards lying around the house that I used to do a bit of programming and home demoing and that sort of stuff. But piano was actually my first instrument when I was a kid.
Yep.
And I think I got to second grade and I thought, no, guitar's far more sexier than playing piano.
Brings all the girls.
Well, it was something about when I was a kid. I used to look at guitars, and I just thought they were beautiful. I thought it was like a grey man looking at a Ferrari.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at guitars. I thought they were just. I don't know what it was. It was something in my brain that I just looked at a guitar. I thought that's just beautiful. I want one. I want to play one. And I think I was about 5 years old when I felt like that.
Oh, 5 years old. Wow.
Yeah, I think I was just a real kid. I was just really little, and I don't think I got my first guitar until I was about 8 or 9 when, you badger your parents long enough, they'll give you something to shut you up.
Everybody
And,
says the same thing. I just harped and
you
harped and
do.
harped, and then my mum bought it for me.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah.
And never look back.
Yeah. Did you have lessons at that early age, or did you just play around with it yourself? The
Oh,
guitar.
no, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's a good question, mate. Probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely had lessons when I kicked off when I was at that age, just to get the fundamentals in.
Yep.
And then for about probably 3-4 years, and then sort of you start to think you can learn things by yourself off records and so forth. So yeah, just moved on from there.
Yeah, and isn't it so much easier now? Back then we had the records, and then later on the cassettes. But
Exactly.
now there's programs where you can slow things down, speed them up. So it's so much easier now to learn, the songs.
Everything's on YouTube. You want to learn a song, you just put it in the YouTube, and there's a lesson for it.
Absolutely. How fantastic is it, and how lucky are we?
They'll show you the chords, they'll show you how to do this. It's just so much easier to learn everything on YouTube. We did it the hard way. I did a lot of it by ear as well.
Yeah.
But, these days are so much easier. And I'm still learning stuff all the time. I still go to YouTube all the time as well. If I want to learn a country lick or learn some new stuff, I'll just go on there. I've got some go-to guys I've blown away. And I'm thinking, oh my God, how do you do that? And where they fuse different styles. I love when I love chicken picking and country licks and all that sort of stuff. But when they
so do
use
I.
country licks with blues licks and harmonic majors and a lot of mixolydian scales and all that sort of stuff, I think it's not rocket science, but they make it sound so beautiful.
Oh, they do. And once you go down that rabbit hole, and you just keep going and going, and it's really a fantastic thing because it gets your brain working, and it gets you exploring new avenues of music as well, or the new ways of doing things, which I think as well sometimes that as musicians, guitar players, keyboards, mandolin, it doesn't really matter. If we learn it ourselves, we get into really bad habits.
Exactly. And then it's all about theory. You got to know your theory.
Yes. Well, that was my next question. How important do you think theory is when playing music or learning music?
I think you have to know the fundamentals. I think it's good to know. I wish I knew what I know now when I was younger, because I would probably be a lot better than what I am. I'm still not fantastic, but I know enough to get by. Yep. And that's all I've been doing for the last few years, just learning enough to get my head above water. But because I don't want to learn stuff that I'm not going to use either.
100%.
Especially, I don't want to waste weeks or months learning, licks here or licks there. I'm not going to use it in the songs that I'm doing or the style that I'm doing. Especially if a lot of gigs these days, fundamentally, we're just playing a lot of cover gigs as well. So I'm spending a lot of time learning songs. Learning the lyrics and melodies, and it still takes a while to get a large repertoire of songs up. So I'm trying to do everything at the moment, as well as trying to learn new licks and keep it fresh.
Yeah, that's right. And fresh for yourself as well, really.
Well, I want to keep educating myself.
Yes. And how many hours a week do you think you spend on playing music or learning new
I'll probably pick the guitar up. I'll probably pick up the guitar every day, just to dabble on it. And usually, when you get time on the weekends, you might spend a few hours. If I've got gigs on, I could spend a whole day just going through the song list. If I'm learning new songs, I could spend 5-6 hours in the music room just going through the stuff. And we rehearse once a week. We probably usually about a 3 or 4 hour session when we rehearse as well.
Fantastic.
So we put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
And then you got the other side, because I manage the band as well.
Yeah, right.
I spend a lot of time emails, on the phone, chasing gigs, chasing money.
Tell me about it. Well. Tell me about it. It's never ending, isn't it?
No, that's right. You don't get paid for it. You don't get much thanks for it, but it's one of those evil jobs that has to be done.
Yeah, I love it, especially when a venue will ring you and say, "Hey, I've got these gigs here. Can you do those?" And it's like, I'm going to say yes regardless.
Yeah, I got one yesterday, and I thought, God, finally they've called me.
Yeah, how good is it? How good is it?
Yeah.
How good
And,
is it?
and the same thing, I got one last Sunday, not last Sunday, a week ago. Same thing, I got a message of, saying, can you do a fill-in tonight? Because we played at the venue the week before and actually killed it in town.
Fantastic.
And so obviously still fresh in their mind, but we couldn't do the gig. It was a Sunday night. We weren't available. But it's good when they get back to you.
It certainly is. It's like, yeah, I've made an impression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. After all this time, you're ringing me, which is great.
Yes, finally, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the best live show or act you've ever seen, Tony?
I think the best live bands are Australian, hands down.
I do too.
And I think one of the best shows I ever saw was probably Cold Chisel, like the one I said about with Jimmy Barnes hanging off the PA stack.
Yeah.
It was a long time. I just remember the band was actually ripping it and, Jimmy Barnes going crazy. But then I've seen In Excess dozens of times as well, and they've always blown me away every time I saw them play live as well. They were just a great band.
Yeah.
I mean, unlike Mob Hutchins, great front man, great songs, and they were a complete unit as a band. You could just, you see some bands, you say, oh, it's got the lead singer and guitars, but they were a unit. They were a real band, like they're really together, those guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, between those sort of bands, obviously there's some other great acts along the way as well, and international acts. From U2 and the Police and so forth, all those sort of bands. I saw Bruce Springsteen just probably about 5 years ago. He actually was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I've never been a big Bruce Springsteen fan.
No, I love Bruce.
But he was great, and the band just kicked it as well.
Yeah,
and I went and saw Keith. I went and saw Keith Urban not long after that either. And I thought, I'm not a Keith Urban fan either, but he absolutely blew me away as well.
Yeah, look, I was watching a doco thing on Keith, and when I saw, it was on, oh my goodness, it's gone out of my head now, the country fella. Oh gosh, don't you hate that?
What's he look like?
Slim Dusty, that's who.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
We've just not long been to the Slim Dusty Museum, but anyway, how could I forget that? So I was watching a thing on Slim Dusty, and I'm like to my husband, is that Keith Urban? So Slim Dusty actually gave Keith Urban like one of his early starts because he had him up and they were playing Lights on the Hill together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, check that out on YouTube. It's really good.
Yeah, because I think he went to Tamworth quite a bit. He got a Golden Guitar Awards and early on in the piece.
Yeah. So
and he was playing around Sydney, I think, back in the early 80s.
Yes, but he had these long golden locks.
Yeah.
And he just rocked that guitar, didn't he?
That's right. And it's funny because the mate of mine who co-wrote that song Special, that was Mark Williams, he's a keyboard player, and he said, I did a session with Keith Urban back in the early 80s. Mm-hmm. So when he was doing demos around town. So it's just funny who you know, and people go, oh yeah, I did a session with that guy, I did a session with Keith Urban and so forth. But obviously Keith's gone to the stratosphere and we're still here in Sydney.
Yeah, but you know what? Sydney is the best city in the world.
Oh, I wouldn't be anywhere else. But he's in the musical stratosphere.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yes.
I'm slightly envious.
Yeah, I'll just only a little. Me too. Don't worry. But you know what? Actually, Keith Urban has on YouTube. He's got like starter guitar lessons.
Yeah, right.
For people. Okay. And he's such a good teacher. He actually, explains things and shows things so well. It's easy to follow along with him, and you just think, oh, what a good bloke to do that. To kind of go back to the beginning for people.
Yeah, exactly. And he's the real deal. I mean, he did it tough in the old days in Nashville. Yes. And he had a band called The Ranch where he was playing with a three-piece band. he did a lot of sessions. Obviously, he had issues along the way that we all know about. But as a muso, he's a great muso. He's a real deal. He's a great player. Good luck to him. He seems like a super nice guy as well.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah,
And-
yeah, he'd be a great guy.
Now, you playing guitar for your life, like during your life.
Yeah.
Have you ever been approached for guitar lessons?
No, never.
Okay. Is that something you'd want to do, or it's just not of your interest?
It's just not on my radar. I mean, no, just never really thought about it. I don't think I would have the patience.
Okay,
to do
that's...
it.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, if I wouldn't, if a young person come up and said, "Can you give me some lessons or some tips?" I'd certainly do that. But yeah, it's not on my radar to say, "Yeah, I'll just go and start teaching."
Yeah, I guess some people are just made to teach or not teach. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you've got to have the patience for it. That's correct.
You do, and funny enough, sometimes I see the videos that you talk about on YouTube, and you see them going. I see people teaching on YouTube, and I think, oh my God, the teacher needs a teacher. It's crap.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think, God, man, I could do that in 2 seconds. What he's trying to do, and I can't even hit, I think of the sort of structure of the chords properly and so forth.
Yeah, so, making it a bit harder than what it needs to be.
I get frustrated watching it, but I suppose I'm too busy trying to get better at what I'm doing.
Yeah, right, and I think that's a very good point too. I think we should all strive to continue to get better at our craft, no matter what it is. Now, have you got a funny story? You've told me a few little funny things, but what about a funny story from a gig that you've been at? Maybe the crowd's gone a little bit feral, or an amplifier's blown up on you, or there must be a funny joke, a funny story.
Probably not so much funny, but there is a favourite venue of ours, the Hoochie Mama, that we like playing, and we've been playing there for a few years. And I won't name the place, obviously, but it's always a lot of fun, and the locals know how to party, and they always get a bit tipsy.
Yep.
Actually, they get a lot tipsy, and they get very rowdy. And I remember on this one particular night, there was a lady came in. She must have been at a party. She had a onesie on with a zipper on down the front, and you know where this is going. And, and she was absolutely plastered, and she turned around and looked at me and said, "Oh yeah, baby, this is for you." And she just zipped down to her belly button, and these double D's just virtually fell out. And I just went, I looked up and, oh my God, I looked at Marty and said, "Did you see that?" And he goes, "Yeah, I saw that." I said, "Wow." And the crowd was going wild. They'll get pretty crazy playing. So she zipped it up, kept on dancing away, and then we had a laugh. Then she'll go over to the bass player and have a little bit of a flirt and all this sort of stuff. So we thought that was pretty funny.
That is.
And then she came back. At the end of the night and she said, "I'll give you more of this if you," because we're going off. Last song, we've got to go. And they're going, more. We're going, no. She goes, "I'll give you more of this if you play another song." I said, "We don't want any more. Put them away." Put them away. So that was pretty funny. So then about probably a couple of months later, we went back, the same venue, same place. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happened. Another lady, same thing happened again. We got the flash again. So except this time, I don't know what it is with Hoochie Mama. Like Tom Jones gets he's got underwear thrown at him, but we're just getting boobs flashed at him. And she went right up to Marty in the middle and just pulled down the top and just gave a face full of booze. And I'm looking at Marty's going, "Not bad, eh?" And I'm going, "Well, I don't know if you like that sort of stuff." But so I turned around. I didn't see what was going on. I turned around and then I went, "Oh my God!" I was a bit shocked.
Yep.
Like I thought, it's happening again. What sort of crowd do we draw here? And that was funny. That was pretty funny. We thought it was great. But the crowd was just having a great time, a laugh, and then we played it again there recently, and they're getting that drunk. The guy fell over the fold back, hit the microphone, hit me in the face. Knocked over the mixing desk, and I caught the mixing desk at the last moment. I had to stop playing guitar in the middle of the song.
Oh, no.
And I rescued the mixing desk. He fell down. The mic went over. I picked the mixing desk up, put that back on. The crowd come and drag the guy up, got him up. And the drummer, the bass player was still playing. They kept on going. And got the mic back up, got the guitar back going. Go, "Oh, yeah, sure, get back into the song. Last time, Whisky, mate. So I go back into the song again, and all was good. So,
That's professionalism.
Yeah, just keep going. Didn't miss a beat. We just carried
That's
on,
fantastic.
and it was pretty funny. So it's always, we love it when the crowd, a bit of interaction. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it absolutely is. Can you think of anywhere that you've played, and of course without mentioning where you've walked in and they've gone, oh yeah, you guys can set up over there, and you've looked at it and gone, oh my God, no.
Like a bad venue, or what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, not the where the band is to set up is a little bit terrible.
Yeah, that happened probably about a month ago.
Oh yes.
At a particular venue, and it sounded just like it was all tiled. It was like near the bar. It was up against a glass wall, all tiled, and everybody knows that they're putting a live band next to a glass wall and tile surfaces is not going to sound good.
No.
Because it's just going to reverb and just noisy, so it was virtually like playing in a beer hall. It was just loud and doomy, and I had a PA operator there. He was doing his best to rein the sound in, but it just didn't sound, from where we were on playing, it didn't sound great. But he assured me, I said, oh, it sounds fantastic outside. I said, you sure? It's all booming. We can't hear everything on stage. There's no clarity on stage, and when there's no clarity, as you know, as a musician, it's very hard to judge if you're playing well or if you're not playing well, if you can't hear your vocals through the fallback.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, it's terrible, and so that was just a month ago, and we walked in, we're going, oh, God, is that what we were setting up?
Yeah.
So yeah, it does happen.
Yeah.
So I think some venues that just don't have an idea. They've got no clue.
No, I agree with that. There's not much thought put into it.
No, and music is an afterthought. I think on most agendas for public, music is an afterthought. They don't want to pay a lot of money. It just we want you there. We want the band, but they don't want to pay a lot of money. But we want you there to keep the people interested in keeping drinking.
Exactly.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to That's why it's great when you do find a venue and they know what they're doing, and the PA is great, the sound's great, the location is great, there's people there. And we just played a gig just a few weeks ago at a place called Shady Pines in Darlinghurst.
Yep.
And it's like a country bar. It's like a Whisky national country bar type.
Yep.
So that's when Hoochie Mama, we had to put our country hats on and play just mainly sort of country tunes, or we countrify all our songs.
Yes.
But the place always gets fairly crowded, and they've got a great little PA, great sound, and we played there that night, and it's just some nights you walk away going, geez, that felt good. Like all the levels were perfect.
Yep.
Bowlback was perfect. We played well, no mistakes. The crowd was pumping. It was great. And you walk out there going, it was worth it. It was worth all the bad gigs sometimes that you do a bad gig and go, oh, God, what are we doing this for? Then you play a good gig and go, oh, I can't wait to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. It's sometimes it's a little bit of a roller coaster, isn't it?
It is. There's very, very mixed emotions. Sometimes you walk out going, oh, that was crap, and then you do another gig, oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah, but you know what? You wouldn't want to do anything else, would you, Tony?
Oh, of course not. No, we talk about it all the time. We say the same thing. And even look, I'm sort of joking with the bad gigs, because even the bad gigs are still good. You still play well, you still out there having fun.
Yes.
But, it's just sometimes the sound might not be as great, or the crowd attendance isn't as great as what you would like it to be.
Yeah.
But we still enjoy it. We haven't had a bad gig where we'll go, oh, geez, we'll never do that again.
No, well, that's good. That's really good. Now, speaking of your gigs, what have you guys got coming up? You've got a lot of bookings, I see, around town. So you can send me your social links that I can put in the description of this interview. And on that, I guess it'll take us to the Hoochie Mama page, and all the events will be there. Do you guys have a web page as well, I believe?
Yeah, we'll do. I'll give you the links. It's just www.hoochiemamaband.com.
Excellent. Now, have you guys ever toured?
Not really. Just touring in our backyard of Sydney.
Do you
Well,
think
I would love to. I would love to tour, but you've got to line up the dates and the gigs and so forth. So, but no, we haven't done it.
Yeah, I think you guys would be really, really good, in the country regions
Yeah, well,
as well,
that's what we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do that. We're trying to get into Tamworth this year, and that was we just missed out on a few gigs up there.
Well, don't stop trying.
No, don't stop trying. No, we had a couple of gigs lined up, and then we couldn't do them and so forth. So it looks like we missed out this year, but hopefully we'll get up there next year. And that's why other than Ray Charles cover that we do that we'll play a bit later on.
Yeah.
I Won't Show My Heart. The most of our original material is sort of country-ish.
Yes.
It's not so much traditional Australian country. It's just it's Hoochie Mama version of country of what we think it is.
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic. So that'll be on YouTube as well. Have you got on Spotify as well? We spoke about earlier, I believe.
Yes.
So I'll get all of those links from you for the description. And right now we'll listen to the Ray Charles cover, Unchain My Heart.
Unchain my heart, baby, let me be. Oh, unchain my heart, 'cause you don't care about me. Oh, you got me so like a pillowcase, 'cause you let my love go away. So unchain my heart, set me free. Unchain my heart, baby, let me go. Oh, unchain my heart, 'cause you don't love me no more. Oh yeah, every time I call you on the phone, some fella told me that you're not at home. So unchain my heart and set me free. I'm under your spell, like a man in a trance, but you know darn well that I don't stand a chance. Yeah, 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 yeah. Unchain my heart, baby, let me go away. Oh, you worry me night and day. Oh yeah, why lead me through a life of misery when you don't care a bag of beans for me? So unchain my heart and set me free. I'm under your spell, like a man in a trance, but you know darn well that I don't stand a chance. Unchain my heart, let me go away. Oh, unchain my heart, you worry me night and day. Oh yeah, why lead me through a life of misery when you don't care a bag of beans for me? So unchain my heart and set me free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Unchain my heart. Unchain my heart. Baby, let me go away. Baby, let me go away. Baby, let me go
That's a great cover version too, Tony.
Thank you very much. It's very sort of 60s inspired.
Absolutely. What decade do you think is your favourite for music? Like for me, for example, I love blues.
Yeah.
So, that encompasses from the 20s all the way up and jazz as well, and the 60s and 70s and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, up into the 2000s.
Yeah.
So what is your favourite?
Well, geez, it's hard,
To play, to play and sing?
the playing thing. We do a lot of stuff from the '60s to the '90s, but some of our favourite stuff comes from the '60s.
Yeah, right.
When I was younger, I never really paid much attention to the '60s. It's sort of like, oh yeah, that's in the past. That's old dinosaur music. But as you get older, you look back and you realise that these guys are actually geniuses. And those simple songs, well played, and it was just like it was a revolution of when even early on as Elvis, when Elvis hit the scene to into the Stones and the Beatles and so forth, because we do
Yep.
Elvis and Beatle covers and so forth as well, and the perfect songs for a three-piece band. Yeah,
Yes.
they're not overproduced because obviously we just got guitars, we don't have keyboards. We like to keep the band simple, and so we're always choosing songs that we can play and stuff that we enjoy. And a lot of the stuff from the '60s, even the '70s and some '80s, is a lot of the parts, the guitar parts, the drum parts, and the vocals. They're all interesting. So you got
Yes.
to have interesting parts for a three-piece band to make it work. That's what I think. If we're all just shuffling and playing the groove on the eights, like sometimes Australian rock can be, it can be very boring.
Yep.
You're just muffling your way through the chords. But
Yes.
with riffs, from funk, I do like a bit of funk and a bit of disco as well. But it's got to have interesting parts in the songs for us to pick the tunes, because I think that's what we do best as a band.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, because you do know during when it was the new wave stuff, there was a lot of keyboards and synthesizers and all of that in there. So, of course, you can't really reproduce that. There might not have been a lot of guitar in that,
No.
So, I guess, you've really got to look and see, well, where's, cool guitar riffs or where can we make it work? And I think that's, song choice is so important, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
And there's more to it than going, I just like that song.
Well, yeah. Well, there's nothing worse is you're playing a show and I go, play some Cultures or play Bon Jovi. Like, no, I don't want to. Because we don't do that. We're doing something different. Like, I mean, we always try with Hoochie Mama, we always try to be a little bit different from other cover bands. We don't play just what the standard covers. I mean, there's a lot of standard covers that everyone plays. There's probably covers that everyone should play, but we always try to pick some songs that are a little bit different. Like Go and Chain My Heart, or we play other songs when you're in the Doors and stuff like that, that not every mainstream cover band would do. So we just try to be a little bit different. Sometimes it works, and sometimes people want more commercial material, so we're adding more commercial material as we go along, so we can pull a song out if someone says, "I can play this." Yeah, we can play it. We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and it's quite satisfying to know that you've got one in the bank
Exactly.
that somebody's asking for,
Exactly.
But I think as a band and musicians, you've got to keep challenging yourself, keep learning more material, because then it keeps it fresh for you, keeps it fresh for the punters, and makes you more versatile as well.
Yeah, well, that's why I like with Hoochie Mama, we cover everything from the '60s to the noise, as we say, and we will cover from rock, pop. We do a couple of disco tunes. We do some rockabilly tunes in there as well. So we play a bit of everything, and I think what we do it well. We hope we do it well anyway. But otherwise, you go see a band like Hoochie Mama, or there's a lot of other bands like us. We just play a whole bunch of material, or you're going to go see a tribute band where they just play one band or one type of music. So and that's the other strange. That's probably a whole other conversation between tribute bands and cover bands again. It's
it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is.
I could talk all day.
That's for sure.
I could talk all day about that.
Yeah. Well, there's so many things that we could, keep touching on in the music world, but we're here for Hoochie Mama and you today, so and I'm glad we've focused on that. And we're putting all your links up so people can see where all your events are and your webpage and all of that kind of thing, and listen to your original music. And I'm definitely going to see you guys around the traps.
Well, we have so. We've got some shows coming up in a couple of months. I've taken a break. I'm going on holidays in October, and got some shows with another band, and then got a show in December at the Rocks, the Orient, on a Sunday afternoon.
Nice.
It's going to be a great venue, and it'll be right leading up to holiday season. So a couple of gigs around then. So if someone's in town, come and see us at the Rocks.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, you'll be out before then, so we'll promote that heavily for you.
Yep.
Well, Tony, thank you so much for spending this time with me this evening and with the listeners. You're a very interesting man, and I've just absolutely loved speaking with you.
It's been a joy. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you very much for having me.
You're totally welcome. Well, I'll say good night. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Good night. And we were joined this evening by Tony D. Santis from Hoochie Mama. What a fantastic fella he is. You have been listening to Conversations with Crystal. I'm your hostess, Crystal. And until next week, when we have another fabulous guest for you, please stay safe, stay happy, stay cool, stay awesome, and most of all, please stay tuned to this channel. Good night.